Hi class, I wanted to give you your video feedback for your proposal draft. And I'm going to look at these as a first-time user, so as I go through, I'm going to respond to those things that I think may need to be clearer or more functional, as if I've not looked at your proposal or anything. I'm just visiting your site as a first-time visitor. All right, Sean, I like the simplicity of your logo. I like this background. These don't actually belong here. They're kind of pasted on. They take away from the dramatic image that you have in the back, which drops back fine. It's working. Were you to use this, it would be flipped, so you wouldn't have upside down text, but we don't need that there. This doesn't appear to be centered. I would do that, and I would focus on just these colors. All right, so I wouldn't introduce any other shape or color. I would take this out, make a menu here that is horizontal so that you can have a drop down for photography and maybe video. We want to use the same font for your headers, put them in the same place. I think this can be one line maybe, and you want to make those the same font and size. I think these would go on another page for your video. So I would just have this opening up. I would have only a footer with contact at the bottom. I wouldn't have scrolling, and I would put your horizontal navigation there. That would go to a drop down of your video and photography, which would be on its own page. And I think they should be single, like this one by itself in the center. That's what your video should be. Your photography on a page by itself, a drop-down menu in your navigation, probably with a background in a color like this, so it blends well, like this light gray. All right, so I would choose it, I would pick it from this, so it's the right shade of gray, and would blend well. And again, different font. Let's put, if you're going to do this, it needs to be left to line, possibly a little shorter, and I would make a rectangle that has some transparency to it instead of the black. It may mean that you need black text. I don't know, work that out, see when you get there. But I do like this background. This, we only need one or the other, and this actually works better, so I would take these out. Try not to send somebody to your YouTube, put that on your last page. We don't want to send people away. So yeah, make some choices there of the font that you want to use for your headers. Okay, and that's what needs to happen. Make sure that your anchors are in the right place when you make a selection. And this page doesn't relate, does it? So we need to either make just a solid gray that matches one of those, and this would be black or gray or something. All right? All right, great start. I can't wait to see where that goes. Phoebe. First thing that catches my eye, these are contrasting so much that they jitter. So that, a color combination you want to watch out for. And this appears to be a fictitious site. And so I want you to work out something that is actually for a skill set that you have, which would be in media communication, no doubt. And these aren't quite related to one another. Rather than have PDFs, let's have a campaign that is on a page by itself. If you have numerous campaigns, then just have a few drop-down menus that are out of the way that help with that. Okay, so that's what you want to do there, but definitely use this as a springboard to get work as soon as you graduate, and that should be in something that you probably will have a degree in. The more isn't there. So this isn't going to relate for you as much. And so I would just focus on a few things, a few of your best works that you created over the past couple of years, and see what those happen to be in, and then use that as your tagline, as your service, whatever that skill set seems to be coming to the top. All right? All right. Okay, Taylor, I do like the logo. I remember this image. Make sure everything you have is copyright free to use. I'm a little unclear about some of these because we don't give credit to the photographer, and I'm not sure that those are yours. So that's something you want to think about. Watch the amount of space between images and your content, your written content. Being consistent. Let's close this up a little bit. Close that up a little bit, probably. Close that up a little bit. It's a lot of scrolling. This looks good by itself. I don't think that's your image, and that is okay. But usually you want to give credit to whoever took the image. All right, so you're talking about editing skills. So here, different set of skills. Something you want to think about eventually is maybe using a font that has this width or this width and goes this way around it. That's something that a designer thinks about. All right. This image might be something, since you use the photography, you might try this in a style, okay? Because it's yours, I would try that and see where you go with that. Maybe taking the background out, focusing on the front, maybe a treatment on the background. Maybe not using purple here. It doesn't really fit every image that you have. So, maybe you choose something that, whether it's a dark brown or a deep gray black or something, but something that works with more of your images. Now this, of course, it works with, but we start to change. Okay, so let's close up some space. Think about those things. I would take this border off of this one and let it float. Again, I don't think that's your image, and you want to give credit to the photographer. I guess this is a strong image. If you could duplicate those colors, that would be great for your site. So I want you to think about that. And again, remind me if this is yours. I feel like we've had that discussion. Okay, but everything is landing in the right place. That's great. Mobile site, make sure you take a look at that. Okay. You have your photography and then you have your graphics. I would probably make a separate page for my graphics instead of scrolling on a one page. Okay, probably don't need a whole page to list these. All right. Make sure that all the work is yours, all the photographs, except those where you have done some editing and they were copyright free. Then you can say where they came from. Space here, right? Bring that down. Those of you who are photographers and have images on your site that aren't yours, templates or something, take a look at those images and seek to replicate them. Think about your color scheme and go out and do what you can to replace those. You did a good job here. Some work together better than others. This one seems out of place in a way on your homepage. I'm not sure you need that many on your homepage. You may only need this, and then you have them as you go. I think that works. I don't think you need the scrolling. That's a little too much scrolling. And this is a great one too. I'm glad that you updated this. Also update this font. You did in your About section, but not here. And it's just that these strokes are so thin. If you look at the stroke on the one there in the N, it's impossible when we get them small to be able to read those. So it's the template, but work on that. Enlarge this. It could just be this. That's fine, but larger. If this is your logo, it's got imagery and more wording. It's really tiny, hard to read, so that would need to be much bigger. Maybe check out your coloring there. That's not the same. So probably these would be pages of their own. And they can be very simple. This came up very slowly. It was a big white band for a while, so make sure you optimize that. Try not to have one word on a line. Maybe it goes, breaks here. Be careful with phone numbers. You might get calls. Your, solicitors may contact you. All right, this is good. What you've done here, you've made it legible. So that might be a good combo throughout that font. And this page, I'm not sure you need it. A whole page for that. But I do think if each of your pages looked something like this, or even just like this with your footer, it works here. And you could put, when you go to your commercial and you put a commercial image here, and you could have your laid out just like this, your asset guide or a little bit about it in this way, that would be lovely. All right. And it'd just go down the line like that. And do this if you like, but only have those things that are related. Okay, only those, even if it's just 1 or 2 videos. All right, and okay, all right, yeah. I think this we probably don't need. Put this someplace else, fit it somewhere. All right, great start. Okay, nice work. All right, Douglas, let's isolate just 2 fonts, one for body copy and one for headers. Let's get rid of the background that isn't yours and focus on this. I don't know how large you can get this because it is a vertical. You would need it to be horizontal for a horizontal format. And by the way, anytime you do a video for this class, please make sure that you have the ratio set to a video ratio and not something like a cell phone or Instagram, because it will be exported as a movie file, and that is going to be in a horizontal format, not a vertical format. So always think about that kind of thing when you are making a recording. What is the deliverable? And that deliverable should indicate and direct the formatting ratio, screen ratio, that you record in. So I shouldn't see any phone recordings throughout the month. All right? Okay. So you have a great opportunity here with these colors and the beach fog to work out something in the background. But keep it simple. Update your copy down here so it's the date and not Blake's. This is a good place to have your social media. That will be fine. This looks like it should link to something because it's underlined. This probably should come up here. True Legends Production and Films. Make sure that's copyright free. It's good that you tell us exactly what you do in your tagline. Let's try not to have producer by itself. And okay. Okay, so try to choose a thumbnail, everybody, that doesn't have text covering up the face. Okay, Good, good. Probably could be a little bit larger. Good, good, good. This is good. Bring that up to the top. The coloring works well, but you are going to need to find a background that is, I like the way you have this dropping back, but it's template, so you can't use it. Let's use a simpler font here that is not italicized and underlined. Okay. Okay, just a little bigger. This works really well. It should be also here in the exact same way. Probably the same font. Take that out and move that up there. Or this could be your logo, which is great. Just up here. And this could go, this discussion could go in your About section. Or you could just bring this up and put this under it. That would come up. That would go away. That would go away. Work out something here. Maybe you have a different image that goes here that's horizontal. I do like that image. Make this just a little larger and then be consistent. Try not to have this word by itself. Okay, so either bring it up or shorten this. All right. But I like where you're going, and you've got it simple to where you have your 3 works, and that's ideal, and you have your asset guide. So I am very hopeful for this one. All right. You guys will be responsible for your mobile sites. Again, try and make sure you choose thumbnails that do not have text underneath or faces directly underneath that are being covered. Try to edit this down to 1 line so that they're all 1 line. That would be ideal if you can do it. You can see it's a little crowded. I think in this case, actually, all caps and no underline would work better. It will make it a little bit longer. I'm not sure you need that. In fact, you don't need this because there's really nothing for sale at this time. If there is in the future, then you can enable that again, but I would disable the cart, all right? Shopping bag. Chadwick. Okay. We've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 different fonts here. So let's simplify to just 2 fonts. And you're just going to put cinematographer. You could always say providing solutions for your business needs, you know, video solutions, providing video solutions. But you've already said you're a cinematographer, so that by itself is fine. But it does need to be a little bigger. And you don't need to say video portfolio. This background has to go. Anyone who is a photographer or videographer will not want somebody else's work on their page because that is misleading to people. Good, you updated that. This link either isn't working or what's on that page isn't loading very quickly and would need to be optimized. I think it's not working. Okay. All right, I do like the way this is laid out. And watch that little space there. And, you know, if you like this gray material here, these colors, that's awesome. I think a gray would look nice, but this will have to go. And I'm sure you'll choose something that will look good. Okay. Again, try and use a simpler font that's a little easier to read that maybe you've used before. This could be a little bit bigger. But it is nice and clear, and you have chosen a good template. Okay, so you're drawn to this. All right, let's bring that up a little bit so we have this up a little bit. Make them the same. If you're going to do like this or you're going to do like this, but let's be the same as far as your body copy. Close this up, make it the same distance in every case. Okay, and you know, a gear list in your case is a good idea if it's just taking up this much space and we're not scrolling. It's right there. They can either choose to look at it or not. It's not hard to read. A little larger font. Okay, that's a little difficult, you see. Let's take this out. Just keep checking this, and it's easy for you guys to edit your mobile because you have another option, a mobile editor in your Wix, and you're just going to, you know, tweak it to make sure that it's working there. You may want your name up here. All right, Kaylin, go ahead and check the size of this file because it popped up slowly. There was something else behind it. Remove anything that is behind it. Okay. All right. 1, 2. Just make sure your fonts are limited to 2. Okay, so we have this one and this one. And that one. Okay. This could look a little more like that. This could be larger. Okay. All right. Okay. Kaylin, let's bring this down a little bit. Start that lower. And maybe just a line less by the time you get this down. And probably a little softer font. You know, even if it's the green or something here and still legible, bring it down here, about to here, and maybe think about your beach colors a little bit. But you do want to make sure it's got the contrast that it needs. And that's not needed. Okay. I feel like nope, it's the same. Okay. This font feels different to me. So it could be. The other thing to think about, now you do have angles here, but you may want a softer font. You're close, you're very close. Just want it to blend in with this style that you have. Try and make these more the same length, you know, maybe cut this down. Probably, you know, 4 words, 2 words, 3, 4 words, 4 words, 3 words, something like that. It may mean that you have to bring things, reduce this space, make something broader. But think about that. These are 2 lines, these are all 1 line. Be better if that were 1, or if you had a 5th and broke it up. That might work, then you wouldn't have as much space between. Okay, put the contact last because that's a standard that people are accustomed to. Let's bring your footer down more. That was kind of troubling me. And let's make sure, especially since you're talking about media, that you have your social media icons, all right? But this is going to look great when you get this done. You see how that came up slowly. But do look at these colors. I like the warmth of this, and I do think you want a balance between a masculine and feminine kind of thing, but you also want to stay consistent with your brand. What I want you to do if you are going to have social media examples that you may have, then how about using a cell phone mock-up for your work that looks really good. Yeah, I kind of see some soft rounded edges because you have this round thing. So just a little bit of softness instead of this sharp M. This is sharp also, but this one's even pointier. So maybe use the same font as this. All right. So yeah, make sure that is going to work for you. All right, great start. Casey. Oh, I feel like this space needs to come up a little bit. I think you've got my work up here. We don't need it there. I know that's the template. I'm glad you have this to where it is not covering content. That's great. And you have this. When you're creating asset guide font, think about this, descenders and ascenders. So this descender breaks up this line, and that's why sometimes all caps can be better. Doesn't have to be bolded, but all caps can sometimes distinguish between the two, but provide something here. Like here you have no descenders, and it makes for a better line. So when you have words like that, you might think about using all caps throughout to offset that. Okay, we have that space that we want to get rid of. This looks great. We need to cut this down or it has to reflow, right? To where it comes over here and picks up. But it's easy to read. I like the size, but I think we need to edit it or reflow. Too long here, empty space. Good. You may only need your links, your icons there. Yeah, it's just this needs a little bit of work because there's kind of a lot of space and it's eating up the hierarchy that it could have. So bring it up and maybe this goes over. Well, you have it. These are your. Okay, so when you click on that, we want it to come up to here. We want that to be the anchor. And you can check that in Wix. Just go to the question mark in Wix editor and ask about an anchor, and it will tell you all about it. Sometimes if you scroll down in the question Q&A, it will have a video, and that's helpful. All right, but the colors are good. The colors work well. All right, good job. Okay, Michael. Let's see. All right. Little hard to read. Probably need to take the white off. Maybe you may not even need any of this. You can try the white, but it may be that you just want this in reverse or, play with that at some point. I would put cinematographer here, Mr. Film.cinematographer. We probably just need one or the other here. And we do need to know that you're a full service production house. Make sure that all of your headers are identical. Left align this. This is a great shot. This looks like placeholder, so I would remove that. If this is placeholder, find something that you've shot. I feel like it's yours, but okay. All right. every place you have font matters. Okay, it counts. So if you have a font here that you're using for headers, you want to think about that. And whether it means you find a different thumbnail that doesn't have this title on it so we don't have overlapping text, you could do that. And you would put the title here. So you want to fill out your asset guide here, just what your role was. It was for the name of the soap company and the title of that. Any skills that you used. Okay. Let's take off the personal profile. Just have the about me. Okay. You could even say I'm a storyteller, and that would be fine. You'll go ahead and remove that. Okay, so this is a template page. That has to go. Seems like what has happened is that you tried to make a one page and the template's still there. So you can go in and disable the template, disable these pages. You can delete them if you don't think you'll be using them at all. The contact, nothing is happening. So yeah, it's a great start, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. Okay. Okay. Let's consider capitalizing these so we don't jump straight from all caps to lower. And we need to be able to see that a little easier. You see how you have it here? It needs to be the same up here. Same space all the way around. A little more space. Okay, this isn't my favorite style. It looks cut and paste, but think about it. I do like this, the simplicity of that, and the consistency with your headers. You need space here, right? Left align it and bring it in the middle a little bit. Try have that on one line. Same thing, keep the same amount of spacing. And have padding ahead of that. For your projects, we need more space here. You may want this to be the same size as projects and about. Definitely a little more space. Great colors here. Seems like you've titled. Or okay. All right. All right. This okay. Let's try. I like that this is in the center. If it were 3 words, I would love it, but it isn't. Let's bring this around and bring this up. Okay. So it's one line. Interesting color. I don't see it except here. I think I would make this sans serif. But yeah, probably want that on one line and these on one line. But it's nice. I like where you're going with it. Okay, anchors well. Yeah, I think that, yeah, you're going to work on that just a little. I think that you could say either director / cinematographer or just one or the other. if you're a cinematographer, we're going to assume that you're a photographer. You can still have a page of your photography, but you don't necessarily have to put it in your tagline necessarily, okay? You will put it in your skills used, whether you were the photographer or your role, rather. Okay. All right. Great job. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. And I'm not sure what this is because it's lost. Okay. You could just say a filmmaker. This, okay, here's a thing. When we're talking about keywords, someone will not be searching for what you're looking for or what you looking. So, or what you're looking at. That's not the place to be creative in your navigation. It's fine when it's a working title and things like that. That's awesome. And I do like this. But this itself, you know, if you want to say podcasts or something, you know, whatever we find it is, if it's TV or something, then something that people are accustomed to. And body of works has the word works in it, so it's probably going to be okay. Okay, good. Good, good. Okay. You do want to have your, a little bit more. I like the way it looks. It's nice and simple, but you do need to say what your role was, and at the very least. Okay, you need your asset guides there. Tells people what you actually do. Okay. A little spread out here. Maybe you can do one of a couple of things. You can make this wider, is one thing you could do. Also, you're going to want your Instagram to maybe be a little bigger, and this a little bigger, okay? But I like where you're going with it. You've got the basics, and that's great. Most of what you need is there. All right, Andre. Anything like this, disable, change this. You know, even templates can be a little imperfect, and this is a case of that when they've said we can create creative projects. Doesn't work. Those two words together do not work. So let's change that up, and definitely change this font because, again, those strokes are so fine, it's not a legible font. It would really have to be much bigger. And same here, we're losing some of the strokes of that lettering. This is working. This works, but, and it does relate to this, so I'm gonna let it go, but it may be that you just need a white background. I don't know. Let's see where you go with this on your next iteration. Change this font to something easier to read. We don't need this because it's not searchable. This is needs to be taken out because it's all template. Everything that's template needs to come out. We lose points for that. Okay, have your equipment list. You don't need all this for that. You just have a little here. It can be, you know, listed on your bio. You know, maybe this is a few lines shorter, and then here you've got a couple of lines that talks about your gear or that lists your gear, and this, not this font, but whatever font you choose in bold with a space in between the paragraphs and your list of gear. That's really all you need. And a whole page isn't necessary for that. Okay, so, okay, let's take those out, and let's see. before I say this, I want to make sure these are all yours. Okay, these are great videos. Okay, where are they? Okay, these are really strong. So if these are Solid Rock Productions, if these are yours, then let's just use these. And let's take out all of this. We have this on black, go to this with some black in between, probably. Take all this black out. But these two are strong. And if that's all you got, I would rather just see that. And this doesn't work as well. Okay, it's sort of separate. Update this. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Just use your best work, make this simple and easy to read, a list of your gear. I didn't see anything for weddings. Take that out. Just use those two videos full frame like that. They look great. All right? All right. Great job. Let's remove this. It is template, or it's looks to be like it's image placeholder. Okay, we've got at least 3 different fonts. Well, that's different. I mean, it's the same. Okay, it's just different size. This. Okay. Is also the same. Okay. Let's close up some of that space. Close that up just a little. That link isn't working. Let's change this with an image that you have created yourself. Let's take your number off for now. Put this information at the very bottom at any rate. Link those up to yours, social media. Okay. All right. I like the way these are structured. They're good thumbnail images. Okay, I'm going to leave this for the time being. Consider what would happen if this were a little bit bigger, you know, and it was one of your pages. Okay, well, this is fine. It's nice and clean. I'm not going to say anything yet. You might want to bring it up just a little bit. This does bother me. It looks a little bit like just added details that are distracting me. Maybe this is a little bigger. Maybe this comes in the middle a little bigger. This goes away. Okay. Let's take this off, this effect off. Let's reflow this so that we don't have these empty spaces here, and see where that lands when we do that. Bring that up to here, for example. It may be that you need another line or two. Okay. Okay, so your contact page is not taking us to a page. Go ahead and just put your name here and replace this with, I mean, it looks great, but you need to then go find a shot like that, or take something that has these colors and is this sharp and has to do with the camera. Think about the gray. Think about what you want and use this as an example of something that you would like to emulate, something you want to copy and get as close to it as you can. Okay, all right, good job. Kyle, let's take this out and probably make this all caps. This type is meant to be a little closer together, the lettering. The blue is very bright, especially for what this topic seems to be about. You may want to go more towards a natural deep green or sand color, deep sand color or something. But the blue is distracting. It's really taking over, and this is a very small part, right? This is a very small part of this page, and so we want to work at that. Give yourself a full page background color, you know, choose something out of this. Okay, let's wrap this text so that there's no image over it or under it. So move this over to the right, make this left. You may have to cut a little bit out. If you decide at some point you just want to keep the blue, then concentrate on grayscale. You know, that means that movie would be grayscale probably to be consistent, and that might work for you. Let's take your number off. We don't need to have this here, that your symbols are enough. I would use black or white and just simplify. Take out any placeholder. That's all of this. Take that out. All right. Probably a form would be good. But it's going to look totally different. Okay, even if you had just an all-white background, that would work too. We need to have this updated down here. This works if you want to just keep that throughout. And you're going to need an asset guide though for each one, all right? But looks interesting, and on white it looks like it could really showcase you. So I would take this off, make that bigger, all caps. And this page alone is probably going to be the direction you could go in, all right? Great job. Let's see, how about you just say, you know, outdoor filmmaker or adventure filmmaker. So what I would do here, this is very hard to read. If you want to use it, then I would make it big right here and put your name on either side or underneath it, or maybe you don't put your name on it. I would choose one or the other. I'd either use this logo big here, or I would put your name big in the center. Replace this. Even if you lay out your own work on a gray canvas and you get the lighting just right, your own gear, and take a picture, you know, line it up and try that. See how that works for you. In which case you won't need that here. It might be under a graphic page, but so far it works out okay, but we've got different fonts here. So choose a simple font that doesn't have the sans serif thin stroke to it, hard to read. And okay, so you've got outdoors. Okay, make this shorter, one line. This is what is a little out of place, as is this. The gear is out of place. If you're going to be talking about outdoor film, you want to get straight into that. Okay, and I'll need to look at the template to see how much of this is original, but if it is, then that's the direction you're going to go in. Okay, this and this over the black background. Simpler font here. Even gray would look nice, or blue-gray like this would look nice as your font. Doesn't have to be gold. And then this, it's template. It's not really working for you. If you are going to be a photographer, an outdoor photographer, you want to go that direction, right? And that will look really strong. This this doesn't fit what you say you do. All right, that you're a filmmaker filming the outdoors. And that's what you should say, an outdoor filmmaker. And then do that. Okay? All right. So that's what I would like to see. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see what it is you specialize in. That will set you apart. And you may have to have a new logo eventually because this doesn't fit your brand exactly. It's, you know, if it were gaming or some other skill set tagline that you're offering, but it really doesn't fit here. Okay? So think about that. Think about what it is you really want to do. Okay, this seems somewhat journalistic, so then maybe we have to be careful of mentioning the outdoors per se, because this is far more journalism. And I don't know if this is editing that you're actually showing here, in which case you want to focus on your videography. Okay, so this, I think, is placeholder text. So that you need to replace with something that is just as sharp and has great lighting, right? Try and find that to put that there. And of course, this is outdoors and looks great. Look for those places, okay? Take your camera, find some outdoor shots, and these leading lines and the depth that it has, the fog, and then the contrast of the darker trees against this fog. Go out and try and find some shots like that. Okay. If it's something you enjoy, spring is almost here. See what you can get. All right. All right. Good job. All right, Alan. Little light here, hard to read. I can read this. Probably this could be here. Just say films instead of events and bring this up. You wouldn't need that. Sort of redundant. Okay. And this green, this little spring green, is not the same as this neon green. Hard to read. We want to make sure we get rid of any white space that's, have some space, but be careful about that. So these are interesting. Let's update the year to 2021. Take that out. This is interesting, and I like the layout and the color. It's not sharp. It's not sharp like this is. And if this is yours, this is awesome. You see that these events, these locations, don't feel like this logo. Okay, so think about the locations you generally work in and your target audience that you generally are hired by, and eventually make your logo feel like that. In this case, it could just be changing the colors a little bit. So it's not black and green, which is very electronic. Whereas this is more event sounding, like life events. So it could just be a matter of changing the black to, a softer shade, even a blue in every case, the black. Just something to think about. Think about, what you're doing. If you are working in clubs, yes, but then we don't have shots of clubs, right? This needs to be lighter color, right? Or you need to have a box behind it that is a lighter color. Again, think about this color. This is a busy page. It's very busy. You don't need this background. In fact, I wouldn't. It's not really helping you. Or these need to go someplace else. You need a simpler background, okay? And we're talking about a night. Now this makes sense, making it a night to remember, in which case this would not be green, it would be more in these colors. Things to think about, and your logo would then just go up here and get right into the content. So you could use this color. You may even be able to use it in your logo. Doesn't work with that spring green, but it might work with your logo here. You need high contrast here. So let's get into your content, put your logo up here, and pull a color out of here for your logo. All right? You could stay neutral and get in, but this is definitely says nightclub. All right? All right. Great job, everybody. I can't wait to see where you are next week. Make sure that you're thinking about your mobile. You will want to be able to go in and make those adjustments. In this case, you're going to take this content out. This is going to come up probably to here. You're going to cut this down to 1 or 2 lines. All right. Good job. I'm excited for this month and to see where we're going.